What sets Jungkook apart is the way he approaches artistry. Many performers follow trends, but Jungkook has consistently demonstrated a balance between respecting his roots and experimenting with new styles. This duality helped him connect with Western audiences without losing authenticity. By the time BTS entered the US market, Jungkook had already gained a reputation as the Golden Maknae, a nickname that now feels almost prophetic. The award Jungkook received is often regarded as a pinnacle in global entertainment, one that historically has been dominated by Western artists. Its prestige is tied to decades of cultural influence, political symbolism, and the belief that only certain artists could rise to such a platform. For an Asian artist, especially one from South Korea, to claim this honor sends shockwaves across America and beyond. What made the moment even more striking was not just the win itself, but the reaction. Commentators across US media platforms expressed a mix of admiration, disbelief, and acknowledgement that the landscape of global pop culture had permanently shifted. It was as though an invisible ceiling that had long kept non-Western artists from such recognition had finally shattered. Awards are not only about commercial success, they are also about artistry. Jungkook's performances, whether solo or with BTS, have consistently demonstrated precision, passion, and emotional depth. What captivated American audiences in particular was his ability to blend technical mastery with raw vulnerability. Unlike many pop stars who rely heavily on production, Jungkook has often been praised for his live performances. His ability to deliver near-perfect vocals while dancing with intensity separates him from others. For American critics, this skill level was undeniable, and it contributed significantly to his recognition by the awarding committee. Furthermore, Jungkook's solo ventures, such as his international collaborations, proved that he could stand on his own as a global icon. His chart-topping singles in the US, coupled with record-breaking streaming numbers, reinforced the idea that he was not just a part of BTS, but a singular artist commanding his own influence. The symbolism of Jungkook's win extends far beyond the music industry. For decades, Western dominance shaped global entertainment with limited representation from non-English-speaking artists. Jungkook's recognition challenges that hierarchy. His victory represents not just personal success, but a milestone for diversity, inclusivity, and cultural exchange. For America, this was shocking because it reflected a larger truth. The world no longer looks exclusively to the West for cultural leadership. South Korea, through K-pop and Jungkook in particular, has established itself as a powerhouse capable of producing talent that competes at the highest level. This recognition forces American industries to reconsider their traditional structures and acknowledge a more globalized audience. While Jungkook's talent is undeniable, one cannot overlook the role of his fanbase, known as ARMY. Their tireless support amplified his reach, ensuring that his music and performances gained traction across continents. In America, ARMY's dedication translated into record-breaking sales, sold-out arenas, and massive online engagement that even mainstream media could not ignore. When Jungkook's name was announced as the winner, ARMY's presence was visible everywhere on social media platforms, in fan gatherings, and even in live audience reactions. Their collective energy turned the moment into a cultural event, making it impossible for America to dismiss the significance of Jungkook's achievement. In the aftermath of the award, industry experts in the US voiced a new understanding of what global music success looks like. Several executives admitted that Jungkook's recognition was a wake-up call. The long-held belief that Western artists exclusively defined prestige was no longer sustainable. Music critics highlighted that Jungkook's artistry set a new benchmark. His win was not seen as a token of diversity, but as a legitimate acknowledgement of his unmatched skills. The shift in perception was crucial. America had moved from viewing K-pop as a niche trend to recognizing it as an integral part of mainstream culture. Although much of the discussion around Jungkook's win centers on cultural and industry shifts, it is also important to note the emotional impact. For many fans, especially those from underrepresented regions, seeing Jungkook win was deeply personal. It was a moment of validation that their languages, traditions, and voices mattered on the world stage. Jungkook himself expressed humility and gratitude, which further resonated with audiences. His emotional acceptance speech, delivered in both Korean and English, symbolized unity. It was a reminder that music has the power to connect people, regardless of language or background. Now that Jungkook has made history, the question is, what comes next? America's shock may eventually settle into acceptance, but the long-term implications are far-reaching. His win sets a precedent, opening doors for future artists from non-Western countries. It also challenges award institutions to rethink their definitions of prestige. For Jungkook personally, the award solidifies his place not just as a global pop star, but as a cultural leader. His journey is no longer just about music, it is about shaping global conversations on representation, inclusivity, and the power of art. This context makes Jungkook's triumph all the more disruptive. His victory did not just insert a Korean artist into the same conversation, it redefined the conversation itself. By awarding him the highest recognition, America was forced to acknowledge that prestige could no longer be confined to Western traditions or English-speaking performers. Jungkook's achievement underscores the reality that influence is no longer dictated by geography. In the digital era, music flows across platforms without barriers, and audiences are no longer restricted by language or location. Jungkook's global presence, amplified by streaming services, social media, and international collaborations, demonstrates that influence today is organic, decentralized, and borderless. For America, this shift was unsettling. The notion that an artist could dominate without conforming to traditional US industry structures, without being molded, marketed, and distributed through American systems, was a revelation. Jungkook's win proved that cultural power now belongs to those who can connect authentically with audiences worldwide, regardless of the language they sing in. One of the most striking aspects of Jungkook's recognition is how it dismantled the so-called language barrier. For decades, American industry executives believed that non-English songs could never compete at the same level of global success. K-pop challenged this assumption, but Jungkook's solo recognition shattered it entirely. His music, often blending Korean and English, resonated with fans worldwide. Listeners did not need to understand every lyric to feel the emotion in his voice or the power of his performance. For America, this realization was shocking. It revealed that music's universality outweighed linguistic boundaries. Suddenly, the industry could no longer use language as an excuse to exclude non-Western artists from top recognition. Beyond symbolism, Jungkook's victory carries financial implications. The US music industry has long relied on its dominance to drive global revenue. However, Jungkook's global success demonstrates that financial power is shifting. His record-breaking sales, streaming numbers, and sold-out international tours are indicators that the center of profitability no longer rests exclusively in America. Executives in the US must now contend with the fact that an artist from South Korea can achieve financial and cultural dominance without being tethered to traditional American systems. This shift challenges business models and forces companies to rethink how they define and measure success. America's shock, then, is not just cultural, it is economic. The prestige factor. Why this award feels different. There are countless awards in the entertainment industry, but not all carry the same weight. What makes Jungkook's recognition particularly shocking is that it came from an institution historically tied to cultural hierarchy. For America, this award has always represented more than artistry. It symbolized a standard of excellence. By granting Jungkook this honor, the institution implicitly acknowledged that the definition of excellence has evolved. It was not a symbolic gesture or a token win. It was a statement that his artistry, influence, and impact met and surpassed the highest standards. This recognition was therefore more than personal success. It was an industry-wide acknowledgement of changing realities. The American media played a crucial role in framing the shock surrounding Jungkook's victory. Headlines described the win as historic, unprecedented, and a new chapter in global music. Major outlets analyzed the moment as more than a personal achievement. They positioned it as a turning point in cultural history. Talk shows, interviews, and commentary segments debated what the recognition meant for America's cultural identity. Some commentators praised the inclusivity and progress it represented, while others expressed concern over what it meant for American dominance. Regardless of perspective, one thing was clear: Jungkook's win could not be ignored. While the shock reverberated across the entertainment industry, it also carried emotional weight for minority communities within America. For many Asian Americans, Jungkook's victory represented visibility and recognition that had long been denied. It was a moment of cultural pride, a reminder that their heritage could be celebrated at the highest levels. For immigrant communities more broadly, the win reinforced the idea that cultural differences could be strengths rather than barriers. Jungkook's success validated the idea that global diversity enriches art rather than detracts from it. This emotional resonance deepened the impact of his recognition in America, making it not just a celebrity moment, but a cultural milestone. While much has been said about Jungkook's natural talent and artistry, his victory also reflects careful strategy. Jungkook and his team understood the importance of timing, collaboration, and presentation. His collaborations with Western artists, his polished performances at global stages, and his ability to adapt without losing authenticity were all key factors in his rise. This strategy revealed a truth that shocked America. Non-Western artists could not only compete, but excel by using the very tools the US industry once monopolized. Streaming platforms, social media virality, and cross-cultural collaborations leveled the playing field. Jungkook's recognition was therefore not accidental. It was the result of meticulous planning aligned with undeniable talent. The shock America experienced was echoed in other parts of the world, but with different tones. In Asia, Jungkook's victory was celebrated as a regional triumph, proof that their artistry could compete globally. In Europe, critics viewed it as a validation of music's universal power. In Latin America and Africa, where local genres often struggle for global recognition, the win was seen as a beacon of hope that their artists might one day achieve similar breakthroughs. For America, however, the shock carried an additional weight. Unlike other regions, the US had long positioned itself as the cultural capital of the world. Jungkook's recognition disrupted that narrative, forcing the nation to confront its diminishing monopoly on global influence. The award ceremony itself deserves close examination. When Jungkook's name was announced, the audience reaction was immediate and powerful. Gasps, applause, and visible surprise filled the venue. Cameras captured the stunned expressions of American celebrities who, moments before, may not have expected such an outcome. Jungkook's acceptance speech, humble yet commanding, added to the impact. Speaking in both Korean and English, he bridged cultures in real time. His words carried gratitude, but also confidence, a reminder that this win was not charity or symbolism, but earned recognition. For those watching, it was clear that history had been made. Jungkook's recognition sets a precedent that award institutions can no longer ignore. If a Korean artist could win the world's most prestigious award, the door is open for other non-Western artists to follow. For America, this means a permanent change in how these institutions operate. No longer can they dismiss global artistry as niche. The pressure to recognize talent from across the world will grow, and the definition of prestige will continue to expand. In this sense, Jungkook's victory is not just about today, it is about reshaping the future of global recognition.